Hey, Music 101, this is Professor Murphin. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the course. This is a 3-week course, so it's going to go pretty rapidly, so I want to make sure that everybody knows where everything is and can figure out everything on day one. So we're just going to take a quick look at the Blackboard shell. Here on the left, you're going to have the syllabus and the overview of the course. Syllabus makes you log into this and read through it the first day. You might have to put in your banner ID and password to see it because it's on the cloud, but it should load up for you. Make sure that you're reading through this. Everything is pretty straightforward, and then just kind of pay attention to where your grades come from. There's a little bit of blurb here about the 3-week expectations and things like discussion board posts and all of that. So hopefully that's pretty self-explanatory. If it's not, you can always send me an email and ask me some questions. The other thing is you're watching this video right now, so that should be good here. Check out the important due dates. Click on this course schedule. Again, you might have to put in your banner ID and your password. You probably want to go ahead and just print this out and leave this near your computer so that you know when everything is due. You'll see that these first couple of days I have basically something due every day, at least starting on Friday. This little introduction quiz will take you just a couple of minutes, so don't worry about that. But we kind of hit the ground running, and then after that, when we get into the second week, you're going to have basically assignments due every other day. Um, I I did that kind of on purpose just in case something happens one day and you're not able to get an assignment done. You don't have something due every single day. But keep in mind that you should be working on material every single day because you're going to need to be working on the material on Tuesday in order to get everything done by Wednesday. So you're going to have to put a little bit of work in every single day for this class. It's a 3-week course, so it's running basically 5 times as fast as a normal class. So make sure you have a few hours every day that you can sit down and devote to the course. A few things about what you're going to be doing in the course. There'll be a quiz for every section. Each quiz has a reading assignment from the textbook and also a PowerPoint assignment that is attached to it. I'll show you that in a second. And then over the course of the week, you should be working on these Blackboard assignments. These are like essay assignments that kind of cover all of this material. So the idea is that maybe you work on the quiz 3 and the discussion post, and while you're doing that, you also do the first 1 or 2 questions in the Blackboard assignment. And then as you work on quiz 4, there'll be another question or 2 from the Blackboard assignment that relates to this material. So if you work on kind of this over the course of the week, it's going to be a lot easier on you instead of trying to do it all in one day. Because it couldn't be, some of the questions can be a little involved. So to get to all this material, just click on course content. I have this set up pretty nice, so week 1 folder is right here. And then what I did was I split up the materials for the week. So like if you look into the course calendar, you have quiz 1 and quiz 2. I've split those up among week 1.1 and week 1.2 materials. So for this first batch of materials, you go into week 1.1. There's some instructions on everything I want you to do for this first day or 2 in class. Some of it's just like read through the syllabus, watch this video, what you're doing right now. And then a little introduction quiz. This is just basically to, it's not on material, it's just to show you some of the formatting that I want on some of the answers. And then from there, what you want to do is take a look at the assigned reading. This is from the textbook. You can either have the hard copy of the textbook or the e-text version. The e-text version I think is probably a bit cheaper, and you can get instant access to it. So that's maybe not a bad idea, but you can also get the hard copy version as well. And then this will be the first PowerPoint presentation right here, and I have a little guide here. This is for answering quiz 1, discussion 1, and Blackboard assignment 1. I'm trying to make everything very, very clear since this is a 3-week course and there's not really a lot of time for you to run around and figure everything out. So this PowerPoint, along with the assigned readings, will help you with the quiz 1 and discussion 1, and then the Blackboard assignment for week 1. Now let me show you a little bit how the PowerPoints work. Again, these are embedded on the cloud, so you can click on them and they will open directly in your browser. On these PowerPoints, I have a few things. I have audio that is embedded in the PowerPoint. If you are looking at it in the browser, it's going to take a minute for it to pop up. So let me just kind of wait a second and pause real quick, and then we'll see if it pops up. Okay, so after you wait maybe a minute or two, depending on how fast your internet connection is, everything should load up where you'll have audio. Now, to hear the audio, you can't do it directly from here. What you'll need to do is go put this into presentation mode. So if I put this in presentation mode, it'll pop up. Again, if you're doing this online on the browser, it might take a little bit of time. And then you'll see down here, there is a little way to listen to this material.
Of John Cage, and here's a great quote by John Cage concerning sound and music. He says, "When I hear what we call music, it seems to me that someone is talking, and talking."
All right. In each of these slides, I have a little audio presentation that I'm giving. So I try to design this to be kind of like a classroom situation where you can actually get a little bit of a lecture going on as well.
And his ideas of sound, I thought I would put up a very interesting video when John Cage was on the television game show in 1960 called I've Got a Secret.
And listen to all of these PowerPoint presentations. And like I said, it's kind of like being in the classroom, so you get a little bit of a lecture instead of just reading. And then there are YouTube links for listening examples. Pretty much all of them are videos, and you can just load these up. You can either click on them or just copy and paste. And then usually there'll be like a video that I want you to watch. And a lot of times these videos will be things that are referenced in the discussion board questions. You don't have to watch, some of these videos are kind of long, like some of these symphonies might be like an hour. I'm not expecting you to watch all of that necessarily, but I at least want you to watch a few minutes to get an idea of what I'm talking about with the particular musical element that we're discussing in that particular slide. Now, if you do have trouble getting the audio to play, the best thing to do will probably to just go over here and save a copy, and you can download this as a PowerPoint file. And if you download it, it will play instantaneously on your computer. You won't have to worry about the lag from the internet or anything like that. So if you do have trouble getting the audio to play on the computer, just go to File, save a copy, and then that'll allow you to download it. If that doesn't do it quite for you, you can also go to Download As and download it as a PowerPoint file. If you don't have PowerPoint on your computer, you can download it for free as an MXCC student. You can check with the IT department if you're not sure how to do that. All right, so there'll be one of these PowerPoint presentations for each little section for each week. As you watch that and as you're reading the text, you can work on the quiz. The quiz does not have to be completed in one setting, so I actually recommend you work on it over the course of a little bit of time because you might have to go into the quiz and come in and out of it and checking your PowerPoint and checking the reading material and that kind of stuff. So if you want to, you can work on a little bit of it, get a few questions knocked out, take a break, come back the next day and finish it up. So you do not have to do them all in one sitting, but just make sure that you're getting all of these done. The other thing is that there will be a discussion. There's 10 discussions in all. Again, discussion 1 is going to be dealing with this particular PowerPoint. A lot of times in the discussion, I'll ask you to listen to something in the PowerPoint and give your opinion on it. For example, in this one, I ask you to listen to John Cage's Water Walk. That's the video we were looking at here, and then give a few opinions on that. Now, each week I mentioned that there was a Blackboard assignment that is kind of overarching, so that's here in the week 1 folder. So like week 1.1 material and week 1.2 materials will both apply to this Blackboard assignment. The first week's is kind of short, so it's like I think 3 essay questions that I have here. For week 2 and 3, they're a bit longer. There may be about 5 or 6 questions since you have a little more time. But again, you can kind of work on these as you go. You don't have to do them all in one sitting because you might need to go back and reference some material, and it might just take you a little while to type up your thoughts. But just make sure you're saving them as you go. And in fact, sometimes Blackboard can be a little wonky, so I recommend actually saving all of these in a Microsoft Word file just in case something happens, like you enter everything in and then Blackboard crashes on you and it doesn't save everything. I've had that happen every once in a while with the students. So as you're answering these questions, I would just save them in some kind of Word document file just to make sure that you can access them. All right. The other thing is that when you're doing these discussion board posts, oh, actually, I should mention this. When you're doing the Blackboard assignment, um, you do need to you do need to cite your sources. So if you're using the textbook for any of your thoughts, put Camion and then the page number of the textbook. And then if you're using one of my PowerPoint slides, just put Murfin and then PowerPoint slide 1, for example, and then slide whichever you're using. And then down here, put specifically which PowerPoint slide you're using. If you follow this formatting, if you're using the textbook, you need to put this down as your reference. I have this as instructions here. So just make sure you're doing this in all of your Blackboard assignments to make sure that you get full credit on these. All right. The other thing is that for each of the discussion boards, you can access them directly within these folders, or you can access them here on the side by going into discussions. You have to make sure that you're going to do one response, and with that one response, you're going to respond to both of these prompts. Each of the prompts, you need to have a 150 word response, so that's 300 words total for prompt 1 and prompt 2, but they have to be 150 words for each one to get full credit. Then you also have to respond to one other student's post, and that has to be a minimum of 100 words. And you'll see that when that's due on the course schedule here. You'll see sometimes it says um, discussion 1 initial post, for example, and then the next day the response is due. You don't have to wait to do them, but I put them a day apart so that people have time to read through the other responses and make sure they have time to actually go through and read and find one they want to respond to. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. I think everything should be laid out pretty easily, pretty easy to follow. You'll kind of get the hang of it. Like week 2 is going to have 3 folders, and that's because in week 2 there's 3 chunks of things going on, and then there's a Blackboard assignment. So you'll have this will be for the first quiz, like quiz 3, quiz 4, and quiz 5. And discussion 4, discussion 3, discussion 4, discussion 5, and then all 3 of these materials relate to the second Blackboard assignment. And again, as I mentioned, this one is going to be a little bit longer because it's a full week. I think this one has 5 or 6 questions to it. Yeah, 5 questions. So just kind of keep that in mind. So again, make sure you're working on this stuff every single day. It's a really fast class. It's only 3 weeks, so just focus for these few weeks and get everything knocked out, and everything will go well. I'll check my email every day, so if you have a question, you can always email me. My email address is in the syllabus, and I'm very happy to get back to you guys if you have any questions.